Hey everyone! So we're getting started with our series on Christmas cookies and Christmas baking, and the first is one of the easiest ones, and these are simple 3-ingredient, technically gluten-free peanut butter cookies. So I need 1 egg, rinse my hands real quick. 1 cup of sugar, and 1 cup of peanut butter. And you can use any kind of peanut butter you like here. But if you use a natural type or a thinner kind of watery type of peanut butter, you will need to add a little bit of flour or gluten-free flour, some sort of little thickener to help you out. Typically, I would just eyeball this amount of peanut butter, but since I'm showing you, I wanted to make sure you had the measurements. But this is super simple. I'm obviously making it for Christmas parties and gifts and things, but this is a recipe you could make anytime, for any purpose. Kids right after school. You for after dinner on a hard day. All right, let's get all of that out. All right. Now we're gonna mix all this together. And yes, I'm using a fork. You're more than welcome to use a spoon, a spatula, whatever you'd like to use. It's just what I felt like using, so that's what I grabbed. And you don't need a mixer. Just mix this by hand. Super simple. Alright, so that's my dough. Completely done. I'm going to set that to the side while I get my pan ready so that I can bake them. You also don't have to chill this. You can go ahead and bake it. Okay, so now we're going to line this baking sheet with parchment paper. You can use a silicone mat. You can just use some butter or baking spray. Any of that will work. But I wanted to show you a trick that someone showed me the other day. So you can take your parchment paper, and you know, I tend to not use parchment paper because I have such a hard time, as you can see on this end, getting it to rip properly. But someone said to take the flap that's on the outside and slide it on the inside of where the cutter is. So you can see the cutter right here. And then just press it down, and then it should rip. And look at that. It does perfectly. Like, this is how I did it forever and ever. And look at that beautiful line. So anyways, thought I would share that with you in case no one had ever shared that with you, because that is going to make my baking life quite a bit different. So next, I have a bowl of sugar. This is just plain. I like to use golden sugar, that's a little less processed, but you could use colored sugar here if you wanted. So red, green, blue, your festive holiday colors if you'd like. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my dough. I'm actually going to take the fork out. Oops, and make a mess. And I'm going to use an ice cream scoop. You can absolutely use a spoon if you would rather, or if that's what you have. I'm using my little, oops, this is the broken one. I'm using my little ice cream scoop. It's about, an 1.5 inches in diameter, I would say. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and go in my dough and make a little ball like that. Obviously it's flat on one side right now, but it's up to you whether that bothers you or not. And just drop it right in. And I'll do 5 or 6 of these before I get my hands dirty. If you have a big enough bowl, you could go ahead and do all of them, which that would have been smart. But we're not there today. So I'm gonna do 6, I think. All right, and then we'll move this out the way. My paper's trying to go everywhere because this one end is special. Right, now what you do, I think I'm gonna I'm grabbing another fork because I have another project for this fork in a minute. I'm just gonna roll them around in the sugar. You don't have to do this part. Peanut butter cookies are perfectly good without the sugar on the outside, so don't feel like you have to do that if you don't want to. If you don't want the mess of this part, then don't bother. And you'll see I have a fork in my hand that I was planning on using, and I found that God's tools, my hands, work better than anything. And I might spread these out once I see how many. This is supposed to make 32 cookies, but you never know. At least if you make them like I do, you never know. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Keep making the little balls. Okay, so I have 24 cookies done here, and I think maybe another 6 in this bowl. Definitely not the 32 that they advertise. So the next thing I'm going to do is something that's, again, is optional. It's up to you if you want to do this or not, but I like to take a fork and make the traditional peanut butter cookie pattern on top. I think this is especially helpful if you're taking these to a party, because a lot of times this is the iconic image of a peanut butter cookie, so someone who may have a peanut allergy knows to stay away from them. And I'll show you here in a second that I'm not pushing down all the way with these. And some people actually crisscross them and they'll go back the other way. I don't think I'm doing that today. That one stuck. All right, so let's bring you down here where you can see. So see, that's the thickness you're going for. And then I'm gonna pop these in the oven at 375, and they're gonna cook for probably about 11 to 12 minutes. That's what we're gonna go with. And then we'll be back. Okay, so here they are, fresh out of the oven. They got a little toasty because I got a little distracted outside by the snow. But there they are. We'll let them cool really well and then get to eat them. Something else I do, I was talking about having the extra half dozen that didn't fit. What I like to do with those is take and put them in a freezer bag and write what they are, approximately how many are in there, and how to bake them. And then I'll throw this in the fridge for a couple days if I'm going to make some more soon. If I'm not, I'll throw it right in the freezer. And it'll be good in the freezer for, probably 2 or 3 months, if not longer. Typically, they don't last that long because we'll pull them out and use them. But you can bring them out and make them straight from frozen, or you can put them in your fridge and let them defrost for a few hours or a day, and then bake them like normal. I don't remember exactly the difference in time and temperature if you do them from frozen, but I'll find that out and put that on the screen for you when I do the editing of this. But anyways, there's our peanut butter cookies, 3-ingredient peanut butter cookies. They are gluten-free, and I hope you enjoy.